A typical way to build strength, whether with barbells or sandbags, is to train at weights that you can handle, gradually and progressively overloading to set new personal records. While this is somewhat effective, and I'm currently on this path myself, I believe it leaves out one important element that can be beneficial for breaking past plateaus and allow you to keep increasing your strength effectively as you progress in your sandbag journey. That is strength development and building a foundation of strength to build upon. In the case of sandbags, it is literally building a foundation because every lift starts at the ground, and when you have developed strength to get the sandbag off the ground to the lap effectively and efficiently, it will help you perform the intended lift like squats, shouldering, and carries more efficiently, and you won't be taxed from the lap. The truth about strength development is that it takes time, much longer than 12 weeks to build a substantial foundation of strength. It's more like 6 months to a year to multiple years. Coming up, I'm going to show and explain how I've developed strength over a period of 6 months with a method that I've tried and tested called shock loading. So what is shock loading? Shock loading is when you train with a sandbag slightly to substantially heavier than your perceived strength levels from start to finish in the workout. For example, if I can lift, shoulder, and carry and squat a 150-pound sandbag for a decent amount of volume of 5 to 10 sets without feeling a substantial amount of exhaustion and having more in the tank, then that's an indicator that my body can handle that weight pretty well, strength and endurance-wise. But if I go up in weight 50 to 100 pounds and it taxes the crap out of me quick within the first and second set, that's what I would consider shock loading. Because it's a shock to the system every set you lift a sandbag. It shocks your total body because your body isn't used to sustaining that kind of weight. But with consistent training, lifting the sandbag will get much easier, and that's when you can add volume until it's time to add weight. Coming up, I'm going to get into when and how to add volume effectively later in the video. But before I get into the specifics of weight and volume, I'm going to give some background information. 7 months ago, I bought a Rogue 250-pound Strongman sandbag. This was a big jump from the 180-pound long-handle bag that I had been training with. I made a jump like this for two reasons. I didn't want to keep buying sandbags, and I wanted a weight that I could grow into. Initially, after filling the bag partially to almost full, I figured out quick that it taxed the crap out of me just moving it. Naturally, it wasn't a weight that I was ready to handle at the time, but as I progressed and consistently trained with it, the weight soon became easy to lift and handle. So I trained with the bag partially filled to roughly 230 pounds for 5 months. Then I completely filled and maxed out the weight. I trained with that for 2 months until I did a deload week because my body was telling me to. The strength that I had built from shock loading really surprised me. So the best place to start with heavy sandbag lifting is to get the sandbag off the ground to the lap. Whether it's better to pick horizontally or vertically depends on how it feels to you and what works most efficiently. I personally prefer vertical picks because I find them the most efficient, but I do both to keep it interesting. Now that you've mastered lapping the sandbag, it's time to maneuver the sandbag into the bear hug position. There's no formal right way to do this, but the key is getting a good grip on the bag, keeping it close to your body, and just getting it done. It doesn't take long to get these movements down, but where it gets challenging is adding volume and gradually increasing strength and work capacity along with it. A good starting point with volume would be to do 3 sets of 1 rep, picking and lapping, and then add a set every 1 to 2 weeks until you get to 10 sets. Once you get to 5 sets, start adding 2 to 3 reps per set, and then so on. I try not to let the volume of sets and reps get too high because at that point, the strength building will stop and the endurance building starts. I have other workouts and methods to build endurance, but my rule of thumb is when the volume gets to 10 sets and handled well, increase the weight, drop the sets to 3 to 5, and then build back up to 10. This method has proven effective for myself. In reality, your body, and strength levels dictate the number of reps in the sets as well as the weight. One size definitely doesn't fit all in fitness. So I would absolutely recommend this volume method as a template to go by with the number of sets because it's simple and effective. After the deload week and 7 months of shock loading my body, I decided to scale back taking sand out of my bag and dropping the weight to 200 pounds. The obvious strength gains that I noticed right off the bat were the picks to the lat to access a sandbag for an exercise. They feel like nothing with 200 pounds. They don't tax me at all, and I can focus on the intended effect of the exercise, whether it's squats, shouldering, or carrying. I see this allowing to progressively overload with weight quicker and more effectively, now that there is a foundation of strength to build from. Nobody wants to get stuck in the forever heavy part of sandbag training. I expect there to be thresholds in the future, as there always are when building strength, and I will find ways to address them as they come. I see this as only the second step in my sandbag journey to building functional strength. I believe that this is a great way to get started into lifting and shouldering heavy sandbags because everything starts at the foundation. If you like this approach or have done similar or have any questions, let me know in the comments. And thanks for being here.